Baby, this one for the girls, okay? The girls who are booked and busy, baby, you are on it. Some of you are moms, like literally out here running 6, 7, 8-figure businesses, while some of you might relate more to the Sex and the City girl single era in full effect, baby, in your bag and making boss moves. Whichever one you can relate to, just know you got to where you are with some hard work, some dedication, and some occasional sleepless nights, but most importantly, you got there with resilience. And while all of that is all pretty, there's a but. We never want to get too comfortable. When we get too comfortable and those habits really start settling in, baby, they settle, okay? They are there to stay. But the problem with that is when they settle in, we just do stuff so repetitive and it becomes second nature. And we all know when something becomes second nature, that awareness that we put onto that activity when we first started implementing it into our daily routine, that awareness starts to die off a little bit. It starts drifting away, okay? And we don't want that to happen. I am absolutely obsessed with all of the girls doing content on micro habits. I really love micro habit videos because it's an excellent reminder as to how to approach your goals. Sometimes we get so focused on our goals, so focused on the end result, that we don't necessarily think about all of the smaller steps that we could take. We just have that end goal in our head, and that's what we're primarily focused on. Well, everything to get us to that point is going to rely on these micro habits. What are you doing to change those daily habits, that daily routine that's going to get you to that end goal? But what I love most about this approach is that you only have to take or make a 1% change daily. Do we not realize how small 1% is? 1%, just 1% is all you need. And of course, it's not going to make a huge impact up front, but over the long haul, if we stick with doing just that 1% change, that is going to begin to change our daily habits and our daily routines, which is again going to push us to that end goal. So micro habits keep us focused on just those smaller things that we can do every single day in order to get us there. So I wanted to tailor this specific video to my busy babes because obviously we've already used micro habits to our advantage. We've gotten to reach certain goals, reach certain milestones in our life. For example, for my stay-at-home moms who have gotten that schedule down pack, it has full functionality. You have an equal balance between the kids, their activities, your home, and just balancing at-home life, time for your mate. You didn't get there overnight. You made a 1% daily effort at some point that you continued to build on in order to get you to that point to have that full functionality of that schedule. For my corporate America babes, you've gotten to that 6-figure salary. You've got that luxury apartment or that luxury home that you always dreamed of. It was the micro habits that you relied on to give you the discipline to become financially smarter, make smarter decisions as far as spending money when you don't need to, maybe canceling trips that you didn't need to take in order to make sure that you had the finances to qualify for that house. So whatever the case, all I want you guys to understand is it took your micro habits to get you where you are today. That is why you have reached certain milestones. That's why you've had certain success in your life, is because you've already done some of these micro habits. But it's like I said, we definitely don't want to get too comfortable. We've used all these micro habits to get us to these first sets of goals, but we're constantly evolving. We're constantly growing. We're constantly thinking of new things that we want to do, new goals we want to reach. So of course, we have to make sure that these micro habits are staying fresh. So for my busy babes, my babes who just really don't have a lot of time to sit down and think about all these new habits that you want to create, this is where habit stacking comes into play. I'm sure, like many of you, I first heard about habit stacking by reading the Atomic Habits book. Excellent book. If you have not read it, I definitely highly suggest it. But that was the first time that I heard about it. And basically what habit stacking is you are taking a new goal, a new micro habit. Remember, this is a 1% daily effort change that we're wanting to make. So you take one micro habit and you attach doing that micro habit either right before or right after doing a habit that you already have in place. And the theory behind habit stacking is essentially you're wanting to replace this old habit with this new habit, and you're getting certain environmental cues that are going to help you make sure that you do that micro habit with that old habit to stack them together so that you can again replace that out with the new and get out with the old. As someone who can relate to having a super busy schedule just by having children, having different activities, doing my content, working full time, I have a busy schedule. Sometimes I cannot sit and think about all these certain things that I want to change because realistically speaking, sometimes I just don't have enough time to think about it, or I don't want to sit down and think about it because I just feel like I have so many things to do. But I know that I want to have more growth this year. I want to have more growth overall moving forward. So I have to find the time in order to think about the things that I need to start switching. The first thing that we're going to do is to always make sure that you specify what your goal is. And mind you, I said goal, not goals. Again, the goal is to keep this simplified. You don't want to sit down and say, I'm going to do 5 new things, and you know you just don't have the time to implement 5 new things. Sometimes when you are a lot busier and you just really don't have the time to try to keep up with doing all of these new habits, sometimes your best approach is to do just one habit and move forward after maybe 15 days, 30 days. I think they say it takes 21 days to make a new habit. So maybe you need to just do one micro habit stacked with one old habit for 21 days and then maybe implement some more. And I want you guys to keep this in mind. You have to make it specific. You cannot have broad topics because broad topics are not going to give you the results that you want because you will not know what type of micro habit to implement in order to really achieve that goal. So for instance, this would be like saying, I want to gain more discipline. I mean, we all want to gain more discipline at the end of the day. So you don't want to sit and just say something so broad. If my overall goal was, I want to get better with cleaning, then I want to change that statement and I want to say, I want to get more disciplined with the cleanliness of my home. That gets more specific. It allows you to create micro habits that are going to be specifically geared to that. And it keeps you focused on what you need to do, that 1% change that you need to do. Well, this was a goal for me. I've always been clean. My house has been clean, but I wanted to amplify my cleanliness. I wanted to walk in and just be like, oh my gosh, everything smells amazing. My room looks good. I just want to sit in here all day because of how clean it is. I wanted to get that type of cleanliness. I started with a small micro habit, making my bed. That's a small micro habit. There have been studies showing you guys, if you just simply make your bed in the morning, it's like supposed to be tied to having better success down the line or just being an overall like more organized person. I don't know. Google it. Okay. I wanted to get better about making my bed. I always made my bed, but then, you know, we fall during times where we just get lazy. We don't feel like it. We have stuff just going on. And I wanted to get back to that. So I habit stacked that with making my bed as soon as I took my kids to school. That is a habit that I have to do every single day. So as soon as I get home from taking my kids to school, I immediately make my bed, vacuum my floor. The trigger was me getting home from taking my kids to school. But on top of that, I also had another cue in there that would cue me to do this habit, which was my husband leaving for work. So when I got home from taking my kids to school, my husband would leave. That's my cue. I'm here. I'm by myself for a brief moment. I can get things done without having people in my way. I can get things done without having somebody come back and mess it up. Those were my cues in order to tell me it is time to make your bed. It's time to vacuum your floor. It's time to spray your room so that you can have cleanliness of your space. So this is just a small example of what you would need to do in order to have that micro habit, stack it with the, habit that you already have, and then making sure that you have those cues in place to tell you it's time to do something. We could sit here and talk about all kind of micro habits that you could have, but realistically speaking, it's not going to matter because you have to be responsible for coming up with your own micro habits. This is all very personal because, again, this is based off of whatever your personal goals are at this stage of your life. However, there are a few micro habits that I feel like everybody could implement, and these are ones that are specifically geared to self-care, making sure that you sit down, have time to reflect, have time to check in on you. So a couple of those micro habits could be journaling, meditating, walking, speaking affirmations, deep breathing exercises. These are just a few that you could really try to implement into your routine. Not saying that you have to do all of them at one time, but there can be habits that you do right now that you could implement these micro habits and stack them together. For example, my shower time, I'm going to say at least 5 affirmations. I feel like that's the perfect time. I'm at my natural state, all naked and in my, birthday suit or whatever you want to call it. But that is me in my most rawest form. No makeup, no clothing, just me, bare. And when I'm in that state, I have been training myself to say my affirmations to myself in those moments. So even something as simple as that, your shower time, that is a daily habit. I really hope it's a daily habit, but that is a daily habit that you're going to do. So stack that with something. That way you could start implementing just those smaller little 1% changes into your day. One thing that I love about these micro habits that are geared toward just overall self-care is that you can really make it fun. So something that I have been doing is I have been making and creating for myself a very relaxing just ambiance for myself in the evening time. This time is specifically geared to, again, just check in on me, make sure that I have the proper wind down time every day to make sure that Tony is okay and ready and prepared for whatever the next day brings. If the Lord allows me to breathe, I want to be prepared. So I have to make sure that I get all of that old stuff off of me, journal my thoughts, see how I'm feeling. That way I am emotionally ready. So the micro habit that I implemented was journaling. Here's the thing about journaling. You don't have to sit there and write a full novel. I told myself, even if I literally write one sentence for that day, and that one sentence says, I just don't feel it today, I'll come back tomorrow. I don't even care if it's just one sentence. Journaling helps you stay emotionally aware, and it also pulls all of those negative, heavy type of emotions off of you, and it allows you to just leave them on the pages, get them out of your system so that you can move on. Because honestly, that's sometimes what it is we just need an emotional release. So we want to make sure that we're releasing that. I'm getting tongue tied because I'm talking too doggone fast. Okay, slow down. Anyway, the habit that I stacked this with was pulling the pillows off of my bed. Clearly, oh wait, wrong way. Clearly, you guys see I have a lot of pillows on my bed. So I started creating this routine that I would do every single day. Well, I do it every single day, but it is, I come in here, I close my blinds. That's the first thing I do, close my blinds. Second thing I do, I set my candle. So it's like my blinds are right here behind my camera and my dresser is right here in the front. So I close my blinds. I light my candle. It kind of goes in a row. I pull the pillows off of my bed. I get my remote, I turn on Cozy Apartments on YouTube, and I put it in full screen. So it's like this perfect ambiance of just relaxation, and it's almost like sensual. I don't know. I really love creating it because it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel soft and feminine. It makes me feel like I'm having time to myself, which is so important. But I've created this routine that forces me to slow down, that forces me to say, okay, girl, how was your day today? Like really and truly, how was your day today? So I'm able to get all of that out and really create this perfect ambiance to do that. So like I said, these self-care type micro habits are just really good to implement and make it fun. Make it special for you, and it'll encourage you to continue with that habit. I'm losing my lighting outside, so my color might drop a little bit. It might get a little cool tone, so just keep that in mind, but we're almost done anyway. There's only one thing that I want you guys to hold on to, and that one thing is 1%. 1% is all you need. If you can be consistent at 1%, that is all you need. Nothing more, nothing less. Do not put all this pressure on yourself to try to change everything. Again, we're busy, you guys. We have busy schedules. All of us have a lot going on, and it just can be overwhelming sometimes. But remember, we don't want to stay comfortable. We want to keep it refreshed. We want to keep ourselves uncomfortable, because uncomfort, how do I say this? Because I'm about to jack that up. Hold on. Staying uncomfortable is what's going to help you reach the change in your life. So if you get out of that comfort zone, continue to refresh those micro habits, continue pushing forward, you'll continue to have success. I mean, it's just gonna fall on you. Like, it'll just keep coming to you because you've trained yourself and conditioned yourself in order to stay with the journey and keep that success rolling in for yourself. So that's going to be it, babes, on today's video. I hope you guys found it useful. As always, make sure you guys drop a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think of the content. Tell me if this is something that you want to speak further about, which are the micro habits or habit stacking. Well, that's going to be all for today, love. I hope I see you on the next video. Bye.